G'day boys, your boy Young Benjii back once again with the tips and the tricks. Today I'm covering 8 things you can start doing right now that will make you a better Fortnite player. They're all small things, but 8 small improvements will feel like one massive improvement. I was going to try and upload this video yesterday, but with the new challenges coming out it made it almost impossible to get a good gameplay. Jumping into number 1, very simple, just turn your game volume up. This game relies heavily on being able to hear what your opponents are doing. If you've ever been in a situation where you've had to mute the game, you'll understand that the game is almost impossible to play when silent. Now I'm not saying turn everything up to max volume because I'm not trying to deafen anybody watching this video, but the louder your game sound, the more you'll be able to hear and the easier it will become to track enemy footsteps and gunshots. Number 2 on the list is mainly for beginners, and that's organising your weapon setup. I personally recommend organising your inventory based on the distance your weapon is useful for. I always put my sniper first, then my AR, then my shotguns, then any explosives, and finally my meds. If you organise your setup, you'll always know which button you need to press, or how many times you'll have to press L1 or R1 to get to the weapon you're wanting to use. Number 3 is something I do just while crossing the map, and that is constantly switching between weapons, or more specifically switching between my shotguns. If you use 2 shotguns, which you should be doing now after the recent patch, it's a good way to teach yourself the timing of the double pump technique. It will drill the timing into your muscle memory, and there's no reason not to be doing it if there's nothing else going on. It's good practice for console players as well, because you don't want to accidentally press L1 or R1 too many times in a fight and end up holding the wrong weapon, or even worse, holding your meds. Number 4, similar to the previous one, something you can do while you're just crossing the map, but this is aimed more towards console players, and this is 360ing while crossing the map. This one's a bit strange, and you're probably asking yourself why you would just randomly 360 for no reason. Well, it's actually a good way to get used to your sensitivity. If you aim for a target and try to 360 and land facing that target, the more and more you do this, the more you'll get used to the timing of a full turn, and this will actually help your accuracy in fights, because you'll have a better understanding of your sensitivity. Number 5 is trying to track how many people are landing in your location. It's very easy to do in smaller locations like risky reels. Well, actually it's not this week because there's about 50,000 people land there, but that's beside the point. The last thing you want to do is stop focusing because you think you're the last one alive in your location, just to get surprise attacked by somebody because you didn't keep track of how many people are around you. Now I will say that this is much harder in busy locations like tilted towers, so don't worry about it too much if you're a player that likes to land there, but it is definitely a useful tip for people who land in quieter areas, or even some areas that are just easy to see across like Fatal Fields and Anarchy Acres. Number 6 is aimed towards those of you who use Builder Pro, and this is practicing switching between traps, something that you can once again practice while you're just crossing the map. I'm going to assume that everyone plays on Builder Pro now. If you don't, then you should. The hardest thing to do on Builder Pro is use traps and switch between traps. Using a launch pad or a bounce pad is a very good way to get out of a bad situation, and the last thing you want to do is accidentally stick down a campfire where you're trying to place a launch pad. You want to get fast enough to switch to any trap you want in the time it takes for your character to jump, because this way you're never negatively affected by taking your finger off of your left thumbstick. Number 7 is a weird one, and it's actually using the kill feed to acknowledge if good players are alive in your game. The kill feed isn't meant to be used for useful information, it's just a little fun thing in the bottom of your screen that shows when and how players died. However, if you're smart enough you can use anything in the game to your advantage. If you keep track of names that constantly show up on your kill feed, then you'll begin to work out who the good players are in your game. Now I don't know about you guys, but if I'm trying to get a win, I don't want to run into the guy with 20 kills if I can help it. If you hear a player die near you, check the kill feed and see if it's a name you've been seeing all the time, because if it is, you can use that information to position in a safer area. And finally, number 8 is a sneaky tactic that you can do, and it's just hiding good weapons or meds under metal roofs. If you're carrying a scar and you see one on the floor that you're not going to pick up, just place a metal roof piece over the top of it. If you can stop a player having good weapons, then you should always look to do it. I don't want to fight someone with a scar if I can help it, and most people are not going to break a metal roof piece to see if there's anything underneath. Most people are just going to assume it's a mistake and walk straight past it. That does it for this video guys, thank you once again for tuning in. If you enjoyed, leave a like or a comment. If you want more tips and tricks videos, hit that subscribe button. But until next time, this is your boy Young Benjii signing out. Peace, boys.